How to start writing today. Y'all thought we were done? No, I mean, there's still a lot more little areas that anybody starting off in this endeavor would want to nail down. Right? So let's recap. We spoke about the 8 points. We spoke about fiction, non-fiction, and breaking up the story into its components and focusing on what you need to know about those components to be able to start. So let's continue with our series. How to start writing today. Now today, we're going to deal with one essential component. And that component is how to get your mind right. Yes, that's what I said. Get your mind right. In order to do that, I'm reminded of a statement that a lot of people would have heard from a well-known comedian and talk show host, Steve Harvey. Alright, Steve Harvey says, in order to be successful, you have to jump. Right? Well, I'll get back to that and I'll tell you how that ties in to what I'm sharing today with you. Right? So, getting your mind right so that you could start your writing project. Right? So the first thing you have to do is understand that at any point in time, when you think about doing a writing project, there are always 2 or 3 or possibly 4 directions that your mind can go with that idea. And the reason is because the mind is always active. The mind is always trying to suggest different things that you can do. Right? So if you have 3 or 4 different directions that you can go with your first story, the first responsibility you have as a budding writer is that you must choose one of those 4 projects. You cannot move forward with multiple projects. Right? I'm sure a lot of people have tried, and inevitably it leads to the same conclusion. You get stuck, you're sharing your energies in different directions, and you have to come right back to square one, which is to prioritize which story you're telling now. So that's the first piece of advice I would give you. You have to choose which story you're going to work on and put all the others on the shelf for now. Right? So pick one. After you've done that, right, you have to figure out how you're going to service this winning choice. The one idea that you picked out of 3 or 4, the one that you decided to prioritize, the one that you said, okay, this is going to be my first project for whatever reason. It could be because it's the simplest project. It could be because it's the project that meshes best with your style, right? So whatever the reason is that you've picked that project to work on, then you have to figure out your approach. Now by approach, I mean exactly how you're going to view the topic or the story that you're going to be writing. Right? Is it going to be from your perspective as the writer? Is it going to be from the perspective of your characters? Is it going to be the type of story where we feel like we are the main character, right? You have to figure out how you're going to approach writing this story, how you're going to set it up. What is the reader supposed to feel as he enters the story and as he or she progresses through the story, right? So that's what I would describe as your approach, right? And thirdly, I would say you have to know your writing style. So when you're just starting out, the whole point of starting out is to get experience getting stuff down on paper. You're a beginner, so you don't know a lot of things about your writing style. But they are the basics that you should know, right? And you should be trying to find out as much about your writing style and yourself while writing as possible. And that would help you to mesh your stories with your style, right? So, how to start writing today and how to get your mind right so that you can start that project, right? What did we say in the last video? In the last video we said we would introduce 3 words to analyze our videos and analyze the information in our videos, right? And those 3 words were choose, plan, and know. So if I apply choose, plan, and know to what I just told you all, right, the thing that you would choose is your project. The plan is your approach. You have to plan your approach. And the thing that you need to know is your writing style. Alright? So there we have our structure for this video. Choose, plan, and know. Choose your project, plan your approach, and know your writing style. So, getting back to what I was talking about before with our successful comedian and talk show host, Mr. Harvey, right? In terms of getting your mind right, he mentioned something about successful people having to make that decision at some point in time to jump, to just do the thing, to give in and let the project take over, right? And it's the same thing that you'll have to do here, right? To decide on what your first project is and to get into your first project guns blazing. I would describe that as jumping, right? So you have to jump, and once you jump and you're all in, then you focus to ensure that your parachute opens and you get to your destination. It's not smooth sailing after you jump, but it is difficult to come off of that point to make that leap. So there we have it, our 3rd video on how to get started writing today. And the point for sharing today is get your mind right. So thanks again for viewing, and don't be afraid to subscribe, don't be afraid to turn your notifications on, and I will keep bringing you that basic information to encourage as many people as we can to pick up pen and paper or to go to that keyboard and start writing today. Thank you.